Welcome back to the In Crowd. Today, I have the utmost pleasure and the honor to interview and speak with Marilyn DeJesus, my friend of, I think it's 15 years now, but we won't count the years, but we go back to Law and Order Conviction, where I was the office secretary, production secretary.
Right.
I don't know if they've retired that term, but they should. And you were the payroll accountant, I think, at that point.
I was.
And now you are moving up, and you are currently, now you are in a production supervisorial role. Congratulations on all of your success. And it has been very deservedly earned, because you have worked really hard. I know how hard you work. And I think one of the things we would like to do on the In Crowd is talk about a little bit about how you started. And so tell me a little bit about Marilyn, the kid. Like, what were you like as a kid, and were you into movies and TV, and was that what you thought you were going to do? And where are you from?
I am originally from Queens, born and raised in New York. One sister with 4 brothers, tomboy through and through, and the biggest Mets fan there is. Yes, even when they lose.
That's funny, because I'm one brother with 2 sisters, so I kind of get the reverse of that.
You know, it's funny, because if it wasn't about sports and doing everything with my brothers, it was all about numbers. So for me, for my first job, you know, working in a construction company doing their payroll company, or working at Elmhurst Hospital doing the nurses' payroll, you know, it all led up to working at Entertainment Partners, which is the payroll company. Exactly.
You have a calculator on your desk too. I knew we were friends.
It never leaves you. It never leaves you.
I think I've had this for like 15 years. It's all taped up and shit. You know, you find a calculator you like, and you're like, I'm going to live with it.
I think you bring it along just like a credit card. You just never know when you're going to need it, you know?
So wait, so you have you really love numbers.
I mean, even I have 2 brothers that are also CPAs. And I have a lot of family members that are in the accounting department throughout the TV and film industry. So it just became a thing with us,
right?
You know,
okay.
Something that we can relate to. I was never great at math. So it's all about making sure that everyone gets a paycheck at the end of the day, because every job I've had has dealt with getting people paid.
I bet you're really good at math now, though.
Probably much better than I was in high school.
Yeah,
oh, yes,
yeah. You have to figure that stuff out, like, right? You're like, oh, I'm gonna need math to like survive in this world.
Right, right. But I hate doing my checkbook. So, so there's a big difference.
I will say, I have a very distinct memory of on Conviction. Your daughter Ashley, is that right?
Yes, my daughter.
Yes.
Ashley.
Oh my gosh, she was always around, and now I've seen her. Like, she went to college. Oh my gosh, it was like
she worked with us. She helped us out. She knows inside and out the payroll, you know. But it's not what's in her heart.
Right.
My daughter likes to save every man, went back to school, graduated from Middlebury, went back to get her master's, and now she's working with the schizophrenic community.
Oh, wow.
As a social worker.
Social work. Oh, that's phenomenal.
So
well,
that's
you know,
that's her love.
A different track than movie and TV production.
Yes. She's not about numbers. She's just about helping people. And that's her thing. And it's always been her thing as a kid.
A memory I have of you is, every time I would walk in, and like, I don't know, I was a production secretary, so I'd always be in accounting, and we always have a fun laugh about something. But the speed at which you could enter numbers on the keypad on the, I can literally, I have a memory of being like, holy moly. It's just like,
I can give you a little tidbit about that.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, I went to Queens Vocational High School in Long Island City. And there was this class called computer automation class. And they had us practicing numbers on a gigantic calculator, you know, like the ones you see in the bank where it's like 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. I'm sure there's a name for it. And we would have to put one hand behind our back and he would give us 1,000 numbers. And we
I don't
would
think you
have
could do
to,
that today. I don't think you'd be
well,
like,
we had to test for 1 minute and see how many numbers you would get correctly. So
wow.
I did very well, but on top of it all, I would always say to the teacher, why the hell do I need to know how to work this beehive calculator? Which now retrospect and getting back to this is like, it's been my career.
Yes,
The damn calculator.
Yeah.
You know, so I really thank my high school teacher for continuing, you know, to push me and say, you never know when you're going to need it.
Yeah. We don't know when we're kids what the important things are, even though teachers are like, this is important, pay attention, and we're out like, yeah. And then, you know, in our 30s and 40s, now we're like, man, maybe I should have paid attention in economics.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. You just never know. And you know, I thank them so much because, you know, I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. It was just one of those things. I just took every single boy shop there was, you know, and that's all it was, you know, and that's all it became. But then, you know, through the years, it just became my best friend.
So you found yourself, you were at a construction company doing payroll, and then what was next for you?
After that, I went to the Health and Hospital Corporation with Elmhurst Hospital and Queens General, and we did all the city buyouts and all the nurses' payroll and make sure that they got paid every 2 weeks. And that was a bigger payroll because you paid every 2 weeks. So it was like double what you're doing now, but every 2 weeks, except that in the TV industry, it's every week. So if you had 400 time cards on a TV world, now you have 800 on the health and hospital world.
Oh my gosh.
You know, but then of course, you know, it's a city job and I just needed more. I needed more. Like I was always looking for more. And that's why I ended up at Entertainment Partners.
Yeah, how did you find that job? Because that's an interesting
New York
kind
Times.
of pivot. Really?
New York Times. It was no one brought me there. It was like, oh, okay, they need somebody for payroll. I'll jump on that. Let me try something different.
Isn't it funny? Because in a world where, and not that it's negative, but there is a lot of like nepotism in the family, in the TV and film industry, just naturally you have it. It happens even in, you know, you've got the dynastic kind of the Baldwins or the Sheens and the, you know, I don't know. I mean, it happens in the grip department, have set dressing, you know, like people just bring their kids in, right? But you just got into Entertainment Partners.
So I went to Entertainment Partners to do the payroll.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if everybody knows. Entertainment Partners is the employee of record for all, not for all, but one of the companies used for TV and film.
Right. Entertainment Partners, cast and crew,
media service, Extreme Reach. I mean, there's so many little ones coming up along the way, but the two main ones were Entertainment Partners and cast and crew. And then there was Axiom that left us along the way.
Why is there an employer of record outside of the actual LLC that's producing the TV show?
Well, because everybody's in it, everybody gets paid individually. The TV and everyone who works in the TV world is a freelance person.
Right.
But because they're freelance and they're under a local, which could be anywhere between local 52, 764, which is wardrobe, 798, which is makeup, 52 is for all set dressers, props, electrics. You need somebody to kind of take control of all that and make sure that their dues are going to, you know, their pension, health and welfare are going to the same place or, you know, being distributed properly.
The fringe.
So, and taxes, yes. And, and the taxes and on the fringes are all being taken out properly. So you need some base to do it. You don't want each company to take care of that. It's too many people.
I see. Okay. Wow.
There's too many people. So
I don't think a lot of people know about that. Like
there's a lot that people don't understand and they all get pissed off and because they don't know the dynamic of, you know, the paychecks do not come from the studio. The paychecks come from an outside source.
Wow.
So that's
and the company pays Entertainment Partners to fulfill the payroll.
The company, will pay the weekly invoices that covers all of the fringes and all of the labor and, you know, SAG and the actors payroll and the producers payroll. So
plus the percentage that Entertainment Partners is charging to run the payroll.
Well, they got to make money too, right?
They got to make money too, right? And
But
so you're working,
that was busy.
you're in the city in Manhattan, I think, right?
Yes,
You're at
I was in Manhattan, and I was there for a few years.
Mhm.
And then that became a little boring for me,
Mhm.
because
Are you a
it
bit,
became,
do you have like a restlessness? So you just got to keep
yeah, like
moving?
I always
Yeah.
feel like I gotta do something more, and I just don't know which direction to go, but it always leads me to numbers.
Hmm.
You know, I was working on a TV show. I can't remember what it was called, but the one guy that got me into the movie world, TV and movie world, was Sal Carino.
Oh my gosh, I know Sal.
Yes,
HBO Sal.
the best guy ever. I
Yeah.
was doing the show for him. I was the paymaster, which is what they called us at EP, at Entertainment Partners.
Oh, great. So
And
this is how you
that's how I
move from
got
EP.
dragged out. Yes. And he said to me, "You shouldn't be there. You should be working on this side." And
He
of
spotted,
course,
he knew talent.
yes. Well, he knew that I was a hard worker and I wanted something, but I didn't know what. And he knew I was a people person. And he knew I was eager and hungry, and my only concern was, do I get benefits as a freelancer? So I didn't
Right.
know. I knew all the fundamentals. I learned contracts. I learned, how to break time cards at Entertainment Partners. But I was like, do I make this move because I'm safe here?
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
had a 6-year-old at the time. And I was like, oh, what do I do? And Sal was like, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out as you go along. I got someone for you, which ended up meeting Susan Saunders,
Okay.
the production
Accounting.
accountant.
Yes, right.
Yes,
Yes.
she retired, by the way, but she gave me a good 10 years.
Wow. That's
So I did
awesome.
10 years with her.
So let's talk a little bit about this resume of yours, which is really, it's quite decorated. So mostly you've been on TV series.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think I have
Gossip
maybe 4
Girl.
movies under my belt.
Right.
Gossip Girl, Prodigal Son,
Some big ones. Yeah. Carrie Diaries.
Carrie Diaries. We
Conviction was
did
the Law and Order
Conviction.
Trial by Jury, and then Conviction
Yes.
where we met.
We did Strip Search. We did
Eastbound and Down.
wow, Eastbound and Down. I went to Puerto Rico for that one. Yes,
Wow,
that was
cool.
insane. And it was amazing. And those location jobs are so much fun. A lot of work, but they're so much fun.
CSI New York,
I just CSI New York
Necessary
every
Roughness.
time. That's it. Oh wow. Yeah.
Dude,
Necessary Roughness.
Person of Interest, time. I mean, come on, this resume is incredible.
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
you've been on a lot of TV series and you've been on movies as well. So do you have any like highlights of things that have happened in your career through these TV series? I mean, what has been like one of the best experiences, or what have what was a moment where you were like, oh wow, I'm part of something amazing?
Well, I think that just knowing that, okay, well, first of all, when you do payroll, let's get down to that. When you do payroll, you're on a deadline every week. Every single week, your deadline is to make sure that those checks are done by Thursday morning, no later. That's what's in the contract. To make sure that everyone is paid, and I'm talking about the tandems unit, all the extra units outside of the regular crew, which already consists of 350 people. To me, that was my highlight of every week, making sure that I put food on the table for everyone, making sure that no one got left behind. I don't care if you were a PA, I don't care if you were a big time producer, everyone got paid at the same time. And that was my focus every single week.
I love the kind of way to look at it, or that perspective of you are making sure that people are putting food on the table, or they're paying their rent, or they're paying their bills, and it's all coming down to that like inflection point of like, got to get it done by Thursday night so the checks are there, right?
Because you want to make sure that everybody walks away happy. At the end of the day, people are doing this because they're supporting their families. They're doing it because they want to get somewhere, or they want to travel, or they want to pay their rent, or they don't know what they want to do, but they have to eat, right?
Yeah.
It's not
everybody has to eat.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
if it's just a turkey sandwich.
Exactly. You can't have an excuse of not getting somebody paid. It's just not right.
And as the payroll accountant, even when you're at Entertainment Partners, or even at the the Elmhurst hospitals or any of those things that you did,
Yes.
you are almost like the next line to the line producer. I mean, it's you and the line producer. I mean, you're like in there saying, going over and getting approvals, because you're not just signing. You have to. There's like an order of operations. And
absolutely. I mean, it was my responsibility to make sure that all the time cards got paid according to all the contracts in play. And once all that payroll was tallied up and just coded for what happened during the week, whatever episode, then it goes to an accountant. Then the accountant has to look at all that payroll and make sure that it was done accordingly. And then after that, it goes to the UPM, and then all the SAG goes to the producer. So it's not something that is just, oh, okay, I'm going to approve this. No, it doesn't work that way. There's people in place. And before that check is cut, which again, it's all about timing. It's all about making sure it gets on somebody's desk by a certain time. It's making sure that somebody is alert of any problem, something doesn't match. You have to go back to the person. You have to go back to the department, the best boys. What happened here? You have to explain to me. And again, we're talking about a 2-day time frame that all this has to happen in order for you to get checks cut on Thursday. One
thing I remember from that world, and not only the job we did together, but subsequent jobs where I was the production coordinator or whatever, is if the call sheet's wrong, or if the production report was wrong, or and someone maybe didn't get paid properly, that people are coming into your office.
Oh, of course.
And it's like, okay,
by Thursday night, you will have all these stragglers coming in. I didn't get a time card. I didn't get a check. I didn't, no one told me I was supposed to submit a time card. I've never had to do this in so many years. Every department has a different way of handling their department. So for me, I just want the time cards at the end of the week. Right. However, they want to structure their department, that's on them, but they have to make sure that every single person has a time card submitted. Otherwise, we can't just pay off of a production report.
No, right. You have to get the time card. Yeah.
Yeah. The employee has to sign, the department head has to sign, then the production accountant has to sign, then the UPM has to sign.
How has that changed in 10, 15 years? Has there been a shift? Is anything different now after it's like?
It's the same exact timeline. There's the payroll accountant job is not for everyone, and that's okay. But if you are going to be in it, you need to make sure that you prioritize that job, because what happens is that you're responsible for so many people.
What kind of people are good as payroll accountants? What do you think the qualities of a great payroll accountant are?
There are so many good payroll accountants. A lot of them are veterans, and we encourage people to come, come this way and learn the job, because it is a good paying job. And, and you get great benefits. But you do have great people like Maria Marini, Pat Porter, Karima Shah, Megan O'Donnell. I could keep going on, Laura Fearon, and they're all organized individuals. You have to be organized.
Yeah.
It is the biggest key to anything you're going to learn in the payroll department. And I train people on the side, and I tell them the same thing. I was like, first you have to be organized, so that if you are out that next day and you can't come into work, someone else can sit at your desk and pick up where you left off.
Oh man, and that's a huge.
There's going to be plenty of balls being dropped.
Right. So organization is number one, dealing with people, but also not being, but you have to have some nerves of steel in there too. Like
you have to grow a thick skin.
Where money is concerned, people can get very passionate.
You could be best friends with someone on the job and say hello to each other every day, and you can find them to be the nicest person. But guess what? The minute their paycheck is $1 short, they want to know why. And rightfully so, because everyone in this industry works their butts off.
Yes, I know.
Everybody has a responsibility. And when that ball is dropped, it's not just your job that messes up. It's everybody else who has something to do with that situation at hand.
Right.
Like the parking PAs and locations and the Teamsters, and I can go on how that trickle X, you know, if somebody drops the ball.
And as a payroll accountant, you are learning everything that's happening on that show behind the scenes, all of the, you know, every single crew member's name, more so than even maybe the UPM knows who's on the show, because you're like,
yeah,
oh, this person worked on Tuesday, who knew? You know.
yeah.
And so that seems like what a great job to have if you want to learn the ins and outs of production. And
Yes.
there is that potential to move forward, and
Right.
you are an example of a payroll accountant who is now making the pivot to,
Yes,
which is not a typical transition.
no, it's
So
not.
we've got an
Because,
interesting scenario happening with you, Marilyn.
yes,
So tell
much
us how did
pressure,
all
much
this
pressure.
happen?
So normally a payroll
No pressure,
accountant,
because I know you're already killing it. But let's talk a bit about, it's like you could get in as a PA, and
yes,
in 10 years you could be a writer on the show. You could be a star on the show. I mean, it's
a
just
director, a producer.
yeah, like
Absolutely.
you get into the industry and you just
Absolutely.
get in somewhere and you meet the right people and you work hard. I mean, it's not without hard work. You have to work your ass off.
You have to work hard.
So what happened? How did it happen?
Well, normally as a payroll accountant, you'd want to go down the path of one day becoming a production accountant or even a controller. That's where you want to head.
Can you tell a bit about what the difference between production accountant and controller are?
Well, the controller basically, to my knowledge, is responsible for everything as a whole, all the numbers coming together and reporting that to the studio. Production accountant, if there's no controller, will do the same thing, but they also have to worry about the accounts payable department, making sure that everything goes into the right account, making sure that it goes into the ledger, the right, ledger, making sure that all the bills were paid accordingly, making sure that the run of show
so like bookkeeping and stuff like this.
More than that, because they also have to deal with answering to the studio, budget wise, cost reporting, so they have a very tough job. And unfortunately, I didn't want to sit behind a desk for that much longer. I mean, I've been doing payroll since 96, 97. So I made a phone call, which is so funny, to my pension, plan. And I was just like, so how soon can I retire? Because,
come on, I'm in that camp too. I'm like 50's coming up. I think it's time for me to.
Right. So you want to know, like, what do you need to do to get closer?
Right.
And they were like, well, when you hit that 30-year mark, which will be in 4 years, you can retire. And I was like, oh, wow, that's too soon for me.
Right. You have a lot to do, a lot left to do.
That's too soon for me. I'm not sure if I can. So I just started putting out I've been pulling out feelers for the last 5 years about wanting to go the route of an AUPM or production supervisor, and hopefully learn what happens on set and how does that come together with the payroll at the end of the week.
Oh my gosh, Marilyn, you could revolutionize this entire industry. Oh my God. Oh my.
I mean, it was just the right timing. I mean, I just got back from Albuquerque. I did the cleaning lady.
Oh, amazing.
And I said, okay, this is it. I got to look for something else, because we didn't have anything coming in anytime soon. And I was like, what do I do? Like, this is it. This is the time to look for something else. And then I started putting feelers out, and John Henry, who's our UPM, was like, what do you think?
Right.
And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, I want you on my team. And I was like, absolutely. Like, I'm gonna do it.
That's awesome.
And it was scary. It's scary. It's scary because it was totally different. But if he had faith in me, and I also spoke to a lot of other UPMs and producers, and they were like, you've been ready for so long. You need to just take the opportunity and see if it's for you. And I got on a red eye and I came to work the very next day, and here I am, like, just learning everything about every department and how they all come together, and and how it all fits, and how that money at the end of the week that's paid out to all these employees is worth it, because they're amazing. They work together. I mean, we have such an amazing group here. And I could only be so thankful just to have the opportunity of just stepping away from what I already know and just learning something new at my age now.
And tell us a little bit about, like, we're obviously came through 2 years of pandemic. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of like the silver lining, or I'm sorry, like we're seeing a little bit of like getting on the other side of it.
Right.
And so what kind of protocols, what kind of things are you doing, and how have the last 2 years been with COVID and production?
I mean, when COVID first hit, payroll was a challenge. So I did almost 2 years from home. And that drove me crazy because I just, I can't, I'm a people person, but I literally was in my confinement of my own home.
Right.
So it
got
to the
cards and
point.
stuff.
Yeah, like we had a runner. So we created a runner's job to go and get all the payroll and all the AP from one accountant to the next accountant to the next accountant. No one was at the office except one clerk. So it worked. We were on prodigal son at the time, and it worked. Everyone got paid on time, but I wasn't just working 9 to 6. I was working like 8:30 to like midnight. Because for some reason, it just was more, it just became, that's all you did. You just worked.
I mean, it's like life work balance. Well, you're working inside of your own life. There's not much of a separation when your office is in your living room.
Right. So I literally had to leave an apartment, give up my balcony apartment to get an apartment with an office.
Wow.
With a designated office room.
Yeah.
And then when that year and a half happened, I was like, I can't do this anymore from home. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. Like, I'm not having no people contact except on a text message or a phone call. So I took the job in Albuquerque thinking, oh, I get to go to an office.
Right.
And then being there, it still was hard because now we have all these protocols in place. Everything had to be digital. We still had to deal with everything being digital. So getting
in terms of
now, them handing an actual time card.
Can't do it
every week. No, they had to email it, scan it, however they got it to us. And that's a challenge for a lot of people too, because they're not used to that. They're used to just handwriting it out, and that's as easy as they come. Then that became like, oh man, this is a lot of work now. It's even more work because now you need a gigantic printer to make sure. You always have to have ink on hand. You have to make sure that it's legible. And then you have to figure out how to get it to your boss in a digital format, and how he's going to get it to the UPM in a digital format, and how that's going to come back to me.
With signatures. Oh man. Wow.
So it became like this just work. It still became work. I was still there at 8:30 and I was still leaving at midnight.
On Bowl now, do you test often, or is the cast tested?
Everyone, they run everything here so smoothly. So it's like zone A, it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Zone B, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you have to wear a mask. You always have to wear a mask, and you have to, carry it with you, and you have to be 6 feet apart. And for the most part, everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. Craft service has individual containers now. No one's allowed to pick out of the box. Catering has a line, and they have to pour everything for you. So everybody has to do the right thing for all this to go right.
Gotten a little bit like pedantic in a way. It's very
it's a lot wearing a mask all day long. It's a lot. And you're allowed breaks. You're allowed to go outside and take your mask off and, come back inside. But the more we do this, the less people get sick.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
That's just how it is. Like
and there's also a vaccination policy, I'm assuming, that like everyone on the crew
be boosted. So it just keeps, the criteria just keeps getting more.
And was there ever any blowback about that? Like,
I'm sure people are just like, why so much, But at the end of the day, when you see people dropping loved ones
Yeah,
You
no,
know, you
that's,
kind of like say to yourself, man, I don't want to bring this home, but I have to work.
yeah, we
I
have to
have to
do it.
work. So
Yeah.
we have to do it. I caught COVID twice,
Oh my gosh. I'm glad
but
you're okay.
luckily, no, luckily for me, the first time I was asymptomatic. And then the second time, which was with Omicron,
Mm.
I just had a little cough and I lost my voice.
And you were already vaxxed at that point,
I
so
was already
yeah,
boosted by that time.
yeah,
So it's like, it's still here. And that's what people have to understand. Whatever it
yeah,
is, it's still here. People are still dying. We're still burying friends and family.
yeah.
So, you know,
Safety first.
safety first. And it's a good job. So just do what's required of you so that we can all go home to our families and not get anyone sick. That's the bottom line. But they
Yeah.
do a good job here. They're on point, you know, and that makes it a lot easier. People are more understanding. Not
Now,
everybody, you know, is going to agree.
yeah. Now, what about technology? What do you think, like, how is technology kind of going to change what we do in the TV and film industry, even from your experience? What do you think?
I
Like, what
mean,
have you?
there's more digital softwares and things coming up to make it easier for the paper trail.
Mm,
Definitely the paper trail is getting less and less. So
that's good. That's a good thing.
right. You know, everything is going into box. Everything is going into some sort of file in your computer.
Cloud, right?
You
Right.
drag and send it to someone else. I mean, that aspect in accounting probably should have happened a long time ago.
Right.
You know, I'm old school, and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. I
You like
love
something written out. Yeah.
paper. You know, I love to read books. You know, I
Right.
have a Kindle, I have an iPad, but I like my book at the end of the day. You
Yeah.
know, but I'm sure there's like, we don't know how long this COVID is going to be around. Is it going to be around forever, like the flu? Is it gonna? We don't
Mm,
know. But it's nice to see a lot of changes happening to make the job just a slight easier. You
yes.
know, there's always some control that has to be put in place.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know.
And so, like, okay, I'm a kid, I'm in college, I think, like, oh yeah, movie, TV, oh, it'd be great to work in the TV and film industry. What do you say to, people that want to get involved? What's your advice?
The first thing that I tell every single kid who asks me for a job is, if you're still in school, get your education completed. Get your your diploma at the end of the day, because college is so, it's only going to happen once.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to, and it's all about learning the cultures and learning the people around you and learning who your friends are going to be long term. The film industry is always going to be here. So get your education. And then when you're done with that, then look into all the avenues, because there's so many avenues on how to get into the business. There's Facebook, there's social media, different types of social media. There's a lot of Facebook forums on how to get in as a PA, how to get in as an accountant, how to get in as a payroll. So we're always going to be here. It's the one thing that doesn't go away no matter what's going on in the world, except unless there's a strike.
Yeah, yeah, that happened
moves.
a couple times, but they
Nobody
resolved
moves.
it.
And it
But
resolved, but I always tell them,
stories are always going to be told.
yes. So just get your education first, and
And
then
and what you're saying is, like, someone should do a full college 4 years or whatever, or 2 years, and instead of coming right out of high school and try and get into.
Yeah, I think so. Because college is just so much more than just getting a degree.
Right.
Just so much more. You know,
it's a social experience as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And cultural.
Exactly. You know, my daughter had an amazing education. You know, she went away. She went to Middlebury, then she went away to France and did a whole year there. You know, and all her friends. These are all the friends that she has now, are friends that she met through her journey in school.
And and for you, Marilyn, you're on Bull. Mm-hmm. And what do you think's next for you?
Well, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Now that I took off the retiring off the table. I definitely want to see how far I can take this. I mean, I'd love to be a UPM. I'd love to be a producer. I mean, I just want to see how far I can take it with all the knowledge that I'm getting now and all the help from all the people and all the push that I'm getting from everyone. I'm like, let's make it happen. Let's do this. Let's make a TV show. Let's make a movie, you know, and I want to learn all aspects of it because I know it's not just this. I know there's more. I'm eager. I want more, you know, so.
It's fantastic.
I just hope it happens. We'll see. It only takes one person to say yes.
You know, I'd also be remiss not to mention we are in Women's History Month. We just recently had International Women's Day. You know, strong women should be running the world. Okay, let me just come out and say, all right, let's get more women in places of power, like at the highest levels. So what do you say to like women who are, you know, wanting to be directors, wanting to be producers, executive producers, line producers? I know there are a lot of great, I've worked for so many really awesome female leaders, but you are now a female, you're a leader as well. So like, it's, and it's great. It's like, it's such an awesome thing to see that in the TV and film industry, we do have a lot of kind of gender parity and diversity and, you know, inclusion and all of this. So, I mean, I would just kind of throwing that out there because we are in March.
Absolutely.
And maybe this will air in March. So
I mean, we have a lot of women. We have a lot of great women. Neri Tannenbaum, Cotty Johnson on Bull, who's amazing. Greer Yeaton, Laura Benson. I mean, there's so many of our guys in, you know, that we worked with that are already up there. And I just want to be up there with them because they inspire me and they're so good at their jobs and they make it work.
Yeah.
You know, again, we're all needed, male or female, to make a TV show. We're all needed. But it's nice to see women a little, you know, in power these days. You know,
I agree.
And I want my daughter to see
agree.
that too. Yeah, I want a lot of, you know, I want anyone who wants to get into this business and want to go as high as being a producer, a director, or, you know, just have fun making movies. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep doing it. You're never too old. You're never too old to start either. So if you ever get to a point where you're just like, I just need more, well, guess what? Go get it. Go get it.
Call Marilyn. No, I'm kidding. She'll give you a pep talk.
I think the best thing about this industry is just the connection that you make with people. Like when we've had all these storms and you know, that you had to go out there and I remember, I think it was for Sandy.
That's coming up on 10 years now.
Yeah, we had like all these people from all different shows get together and we borrowed a truck and we went and made sandwiches and we went and, you know, we got food and soup and we went all the way to Staten Island and we just started handing food out.
Wow.
And it was just so nice because none of us knew each other.
Yeah.
But it was like somebody threw a blast and they were like, what are you doing this Saturday? We have to go feed these people. Nobody's going to eat. You know, nobody has food. Everything is crazy. And it was such a nice gathering, you know what I'm saying? To do something nice for people without even expecting anything in return. Like we took money out of our own pockets.
No,
went out there and we made it happen.
I've witnessed that time and time again when I was more in the kind of TV and film industry, is that people come together to support and there's so much heart and no matter what, people just kind of like galvanize and they cover for you. They don't
care. They just want to do whatever it is for the cause. I mean, we've lost a lot of good people along the way. So we would run GoFundMe, we would donations, we would make sure, you know, if catering has all this food, we try to, you know, donate, you know. So people have a lot of heart in this industry. They have a lot of heart and they will put all the differences aside for the cause. And it just takes one person to say, I really need some help. Yeah. And all of a sudden, by the end of the day, there's like a GoFundMe. There's like,
hey, TV people are resourceful too. They're resourceful.
Absolutely. No, they are so resourceful. And you know what? No judgment.
Yeah.
And that's when you know who you're working with.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's just great. It's been a great experience. People just, they've become my family. You know what I mean? That's how you become so attached to people. And like you and I, we've been friends for years.
Yeah.
And
you know what it's like? We just strike it up.
Yeah.
It's like time hasn't even passed.
Exactly.
even if years have.
Pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
You could be recycled over and over again. And the only thing that gets older are the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like everybody's like, how old is the kid now? And I'm like, 30. And they're like,
no,
you're kidding. So that's the kind of feel, and it's always felt like that. And I've never had run-ins. I've never, of course you have disagreements of things that were misunderstandings. And towards the end of the week, it's like, look, I just want to thank you so much. And that's what you wait for. You wait for someone to just finally say, you did right by me. I just want to say thank you. And I get
it comes full circle usually if you
absolutely
people cool down, and then it's
and then it's like, I'm so sorry, I just kind of lost it. And I was just like, I got you, but give me a minute, But otherwise, it's been great. Puerto Rico was great. Danny McBride and the actors on the show were amazing. They would do so much with us. They would take us out. They would put us on a boat. The locals were amazing. They treated us like family, and I still keep in touch with them. And this happened.
That's awesome.
So we're still friends. We're still collaborating. We're still trying to get a group together. But it's just been such a great ride, man. Like such a sweet ride.
Thank you for spending some time with us and for
my God,
being on, the In Crowd. Marilyn, you're definitely a member of the In Crowd, and all the best. And I don't need to wish you luck, because you don't need luck, because you're amazing. But break a leg out there on Bull, and I'm excited to see what you do next. I'm going to be following you.
Me
I'm going to be
too.
I'm staying in, I'm watching Marilyn. That's my show. I'm going to be like, what's Marilyn doing now? So cool.
Wish me luck. Wish me luck. That's all I want.
Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, thank you.
This. It's such a pleasure. Thank you.